Do rich people use annuities? Today, we're going to look at someone who is looking to put several $1,000,000 into annuity products. We'll look at the options he's considering, and then we'll go through why he's doing this. To start though, I've always heard bad things about annuities. I hear from others that they have high fees, it's a scam, you can do so much better if you put your money elsewhere, don't do it. Now, all of this can be true, but at the same time, annuities can be extremely effective tools when they're used correctly. I just have to know how to use them the right way. Think of it this way. I'm interested in getting in rental real estate. I look at a rental property, it's going to be my first one, and it's supposed to cash flow me $5,000 per month. I'm excited, I do my due diligence, I write the check, I buy the property, and then some unforeseen expenses come up, or expenses that I didn't know to ask about, and all of a sudden my cash flow is now $2,500 per month, and I'm barely generating a profit. What I would not say in a situation like that is, don't do real estate. It's a ripoff. You're going to lose all your money. I didn't make any money. Stay away from it. No. Instead, I would say, if you're going to get into real estate, make sure you do your due diligence. Maybe talk to some people who have more experience. Make sure you're aware of the expenses, fees, property taxes, and everything else that can come with that property. When it comes to annuities, it's the exact same thing. We want to do our due diligence and make sure we know exactly what we're getting into, because if we do it right, it can work so well. So let's look at why it's working so well for this individual who I would consider to be rich, because he has a lot of money. You'll see his liquid net worth is quite high. So we are looking at someone who is an attorney. He has great attention to detail. I will leave it at that. He has a liquid net worth of about $6 million. $1 million is in pre-tax money, and then $5 million is in after-tax money. That after-tax money consists of cash, treasury bills, and then money in the stock market. The $6 million net worth does not include any real estate that he owns. So that is considered his liquid net worth. Now, he is currently planning to retire in about 7 years. And he said, when I retire at 65 years old, I would like $250,000 per year in income. If I have that locked in, that'll give me so much peace of mind. So he's looking at what can accomplish this. So in terms of options, he's done a great job building his net worth. He can keep doing that. He can continue to invest and try and generate $250,000 per year from his investments. He could invest in real estate to try and produce $250,000, or he can look at an annuity. He's interested in an annuity, and there's one main reason why. What's in purple there? Contractual guarantee. So with an annuity, it's very easy. There's no management. He can just write a check, and then he is guaranteed to get that $250,000 per year in income when he turns 65 for the rest of his life. He doesn't have to think about it. Think of it as a peace of mind product. And then with his other assets, he can continue to invest those, take on a bit more risk, and do what he wants with them. That's why he was attracted to the annuity, mainly because of that guarantee. It's possible to accomplish that $250,000 with other strategies, but the annuity, it's guaranteed and easy. That's why he liked it. So he was interested in two different types of annuities. The primary interest was income. So we wanted the guaranteed income of $250,000 per year, starting at 65, and right now he's 58 years old. So the question was, how much do I need to deposit in order for an insurance company to turn around and say, we'll guarantee you $250,000 per year in income? It depends on a few things. One, heavily depends on the insurance company, depends on the product that you're selecting, and it also depends on the time that you purchase that annuity. Annuities are very interest rate sensitive. Now the nice thing about them is when you purchase that annuity, whatever that contractual guarantee is, you're locking that guarantee in at the time of purchase. So if I purchase annuities in a high interest rate environment, I could guarantee a very attractive income payout down the road. If it's a low interest rate environment, maybe not quite as attractive. Company choice. He wanted an A-rated company. Now, during our second meeting, he actually said, are these companies A++? He wanted cream of the crop. Again, attorney, very attentive to detail, knows a little bit about insurance companies as well, so he knew what he was looking for here. So he wants, at a minimum, a large A-rated company, prefers A++ though. So I'm going to show 3 different options that we showed him, but here's the one thing I want to mention. A higher rating can be more expensive. So to illustrate, here are 3 annuities that produce him $250,000 per year in income when he turns 65 years old. Up top, we've got A++. We have MassMutual Ascend Life Insurance Company. Then we have A+, Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. And then we have A+, Athene. Which of these 3 companies, which ones have you heard of? I'd say everyone has heard of Nationwide because of the commercial and Peyton Manning. Most people have probably heard of MassMutual. Athene, he didn't hear of them. Now Athene is a solid A+ rated company that really specializes in the annuity marketplace. So we'll see that this option gives him the best bang for his buck. So what we can look at here is the first year benefit, which is going to be when he turns 65, I'll show you this in a moment, is $250,000 for each of them. Now if you look right above the box that I have here, you see the single premium. Then you see the dollar amounts. What does that mean? Well, if he wants the A++ rated company, MassMutual Ascend, that requires a deposit of about $2.3 million today in order to guarantee him $250,000 per year in income 7 years from now when he turns 65 years old. If he goes with Nationwide, he needs to write a check for about $2.1 million. And if it's Athene, it's a little bit more than $2 million. So with the different companies, when I look at the less known company that's still A+ rated, less money gets me the same benefit. Make sense? So if we scroll down to the next page, we can see the income benefits here. And what these charts show, what I like about this, if we just focus on the one to the right, Athene, at 65, you've got that income of $250,000 per year. That means if you flip the income switch on at 65, you're guaranteed $250,000 per year in income every single year. If he said, hey, life changed, I want to start at 62, well then the guaranteed income would be about $200,000 per year for the rest of his life. So he doesn't need to decide up front exactly when he's taking that income. But he's quite certain it's going to be 65. He's got a lot of liquid assets that if he retires early, he can easily use those. So let's look at these 3 annuities side by side, beginning with MassMutual Ascend. So he's 58 now, and then we're skipping to year 7, $250K per year. The deposit, almost $2.3 million. Nationwide, $2.1. Athene, $2 million. Now in his situation, Athene he had not heard of, so his comfort level was more so with the A-rated larger companies, but he did like the fact that Athene gives him more bang for his buck. So in a situation like that, one of the things I like to mention is you can split that deposit between 2 companies. It could even be 3 if you wanted to position some of your funds with a larger, more highly rated life insurance company. That's perfectly fine. People do that, and then we would recalculate the numbers. But with the income annuity, that's what he was interested in. So a fairly large deposit of about $2 to $2.5 million. And the purpose of this is to guarantee income down the road. What he mentioned on our very first call was, I kind of view it like a private pension plan where I just give the insurance company money and I'm guaranteed this income for the rest of my life. The second annuity that we looked at was a growth annuity. So first we looked at what's called a MYGA, multi-year guaranteed annuity, which just gives you a flat fixed rate for a certain number of years. You pick it up front. He wasn't into that after he saw what the rates are with A-rated companies. So we looked into an indexed annuity. So how this works is it's usually tied to the S&P 500 index, although there's a million other options. This is still the most common today. An indexed annuity gives you upside potential, but protects your principal from market loss. So to oversimplify this, if the market goes up, your money goes up with it. If the market goes down, you won't lose money. Your principal is protected, which is nice. Now, a common problem with indexed annuities are renewal rates. Here's what this means. You might start an annuity, and that annuity has a 7 to 10 year term with surrender charges. A surrender charge is a charge, a dollar amount, that the insurance company will keep if you said, I want to get out of this annuity early. Whether I get out of it and just cash it out, or if I transfer it to a different annuity or different account, they're going to retain that surrender charge. So when I start an annuity, on day 0, I might have a cap rate of 10%. A cap rate is the cap or ceiling with respect to how much I can earn per year. So if I start an annuity today with a cap rate of 10% and the S&P does 30%, I'll get 10%. I cannot earn more than that cap rate. But if the market goes down, I'm not going to lose money. Back to the problem. I've got that 7 to 10 year surrender term. 5 years in, that cap rate has been gradually reduced, and now it's down to 5%, for example. So how would you feel if you got an annuity with a 10-year term where you can't get out of it unless you get whacked with a surrender penalty and you have to give up some of your money? You got it because you were comfortable with the 10% cap rate. But then the cap rate was lowered to 5% and you're only 5 years into it, so you feel locked into it for another 5 years. This is where people typically have problems with these products. This kind of stuff was not disclosed up front. So there is a solution to this. One is somewhat hopeful, but there's a lot of backing behind it. The other is guaranteed. So the first solution, I would go with a company that has a history of not doing that, where they don't just slash your cap rates after you start the product. What you want to ask for here is what is called your renewal rate history. I'm going to show you this in a moment. The second is to go with a company that just guarantees the cap rate. Let's look at both. First, we'll look at an example of renewal rate history. Here we go. So this is with an insurance company that specializes in indexed annuities. We see that this particular product was launched in 2014, and this represents a 10-year term, and this is what we look for, 100%. All that means is if you bought this product in 2014 and the cap rate was 10%, it stayed at 10% every single year. Now, it's not a guarantee of the future rate. It's just the insurance company saying, hey, we have proof that we don't play these bait and switch games. If we need to reduce it, we still reserve that right, but we try really hard not to do that. That's what this is really showing, which is really big to me. Now, another thing to mention is if it's a 10-year annuity, meaning you have a 10-year surrender period, after that surrender period, like after that 10 years passes, they're most likely going to drop the cap rate down to the minimum. The reason why is because those cap rates, insurance companies offer the higher cap rates while there's a surrender charge because they know people aren't going to cash out. Once the surrender period expires, there's no incentive for you or I as the contract holder to keep our money there. They prefer if we roll it over to a different annuity with them. But that's an example of strong renewal rate history with one company, that's Global Atlantic. And then we've got an example of a guaranteed cap rate lock. So this is with Mass Mutual Ascend. So here, you'll see different strategies. So with an indexed annuity, you can actually change where your money is allocated, and you can typically adjust it every year. Now, the second option is where we have 100% of our money allocated. And you'll also see a tiny little footnote here. Attention to detail. So here we go. This strategy, talking about option 2 here, has one 7-year term. The cap rate is locked for the entire term. Here's the important piece about this. This strategy may only be selected during the first contract year, meaning when you pick this option, you're locked in for 7 years. You can't change to those other options, which do give you a little bit more upside in terms of potential. So what it does is protect you from that big problem in the industry where companies cut cap rates, but once I'm in, I'm in. And when I said attention to detail, I made sure we pointed that out to him before he caught it. As an agent, you should be showing this information to your clients rather than have them look through it and ask questions. So we've got the illustration here. What I'm going to do, though, is just pull it up on Excel, and we'll look just at the first 10 years, because after that, the chances are very likely that the cap rates would be reduced. Okay, so on the left, we've got the MassMutual Ascend product. On the right, we've got Global Atlantic. The MassMutual Ascend product has a cap rate of 8%, and it's that 7-year lock, meaning it's guaranteed. It is not going to be slashed during the first 7 years. The surrender period is also 7 years. See what the company's doing there? They're locking that rate in during the surrender term. Why it's 8% some years and 0% others is because this is assuming market history, where if we see 8%, that means the S&P did 8% or greater, and then years we see it at 0 means that it flatlined or it produced a negative return. But as we look at this, by the 7th year, my 500 has appreciated to 714. By the 10th year, it's appreciated to 872, but I don't know that that's going to happen, because when the surrender's done, that cap rate's going to renew and likely be lower. Now, if we look at Global Atlantic, cap rate is 9.5%. It is not guaranteed. However, this is the company that we looked at that has that strong renewal rate history. So I've got more upside because I have a higher cap rate. So by the 10th year, I'm looking at 9.35 there. Here's the thing when it comes to indexed annuities. We can use a different strategy than a cap rate and make those numbers look just absolutely phenomenal by the 10th year, but I think that's unrealistic. Whenever we're looking at indexed annuities, setting expectations properly is so important. It's the case with anything, with insurance products. We look at life insurance, indexed annuities, whatever it might be, but it's so important because we are looking at the potential growth. It's not like the income annuity, which is I write the insurance company a check and they guarantee me income forever. No, it's more hypothetical. So what we like to look at is, what are the guarantees? What does the history look like? And when I look at the guarantees and the renewal rate history and examples of other clients that have these products, how has it worked over time? So all of this is to solidify the fact that yes, rich people do use annuities. In this case, it was an attorney, very attentive to detail. He understands how he can use it with his other assets, and it's a fit. So do let me know your thoughts on this video. Please leave your comments below. If you'd like to see more case studies like this or more information on annuities, you can check out our website. We've got some case studies there. And as always, I hope this helps. Thanks so much.
Hey guys, Steve here with IBC Global. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you're interested in a whole life insurance policy and you'd like to work with our company in setting it up, please visit our website, ibcglobalinc.com. We would love to work with you, If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And as always, I hope this helps.